There are places in this world that vanish without explanation, towns swallowed by time, whispers in history that never quite fade. Eldon's Hollow is one of them. A village that once stood deep within the forests of Eastern Europe, surrounded by thick mists and ancient trees. And then, one day, it was gone. The story goes like this. In the winter of 1939, a supply convoy traveling through the region found the village silent. No signs of struggle. No bodies. No movement. Fires still burned in hearths. Food sat untouched on tables. It was as if the villagers had simply stood up and walked into the forest, never to return. Local authorities investigated. Military teams followed. But nothing, no clues, no survivors, not even footprints. Over time, the story became legend. A curiosity whispered among historians and paranormal enthusiasts. Another forgotten footnote in the thick book of the unexplained. But then, in 2023, a team of researchers uncovered a hidden passage beneath the ruins of Eldon's Hollow. Buried deep in the earth was a sealed chamber, untouched for decades. Inside, they discovered a leather-bound journal, burned along the edges, but still legible. The author? Tomasz Reuter, a geologist who vanished while investigating the village in 1939. His final entries were frantic, filled with warnings and sketches of strange symbols, shadowy figures, and most chillingly, a stone door. One passage reads, "We were wrong. The village didn't disappear. It was taken, swallowed. The door, it's still open." The journal described the chamber in unsettling detail. Stone walls covered in ancient glyphs unlike any known language, and in the center, an immense circular door, etched with symbols that seemed to pulse in the torchlight. At its core, a single indentation shaped like a human hand. Further analysis of the glyphs revealed similarities to both Mesopotamian cuneiform and forgotten Slavic runes. But there was something off. Some experts claimed the symbols felt wrong, as if they weren't meant to be read by human minds. Others suggested they weren't written at all, but grown into the stone. Tomasz had described rituals performed by the villagers, ceremonies held deep beneath the surface, chants in an unknown tongue, offerings made to what he called the ones beneath. He believed the villagers were not victims but participants, protectors or worshippers. Local folklore tells of the hollowed ones, shadowy figures said to dwell in silence beneath the earth, neither living nor dead. They do not speak, but their presence is felt. According to Tomasz, they were bound behind the stone door. For centuries, perhaps longer. Contained until someone opened it. That someone, it seems, may have been the private research team that followed the archaeologists into the ruins. Funded by an unknown organization, they entered the chamber under the cover of night. For 43 minutes, their communications were normal. Then silence. Only fragments of their footage remain. In the last surviving clip, one researcher presses their palm against the stone indentation. A low, resonant sound follows. Dust shakes from the ceiling. Then the door moves. A crack forms down its center. Light, cold and blue, seeps out. And then shadows. Screams, static, and darkness. The team was never seen again. Their camp, left behind, looked eerily familiar. Food half-eaten, radios still humming, tents empty. Echoes of Eldon's Hollow. Some say the team crossed into another dimension. Others believe they awakened something that was never meant to rise again. But the question now isn't just what lies beneath, it's what may have gotten out. In the weeks following the incident, strange reports surfaced across the region. Entire campsites abandoned, hikers found miles from where they began, unable to speak. Surveillance footage capturing tall, thin silhouettes standing motionless at the edge of forests. And then children, found alone, repeating only one word, hollow. Neurologists who examined survivors found signs of severe memory disruption. Regions of the brain associated with identity and perception appeared degraded, as if their minds had been erased. One patient, unable to recall his name, drew a repeated symbol in blood, a ring of dark figures surrounding a small home. Tomasz's final journal entry warned of this. The hollowed ones feed on absence. Where they go, memory fades. Time forgets. They erase. Today, Eldon's Hollow no longer appears on any official map. Government archives list no such village. It is as if it never existed at all. All that remains is Tomasz's journal, passed between private hands, now scattered in fragments. Recently, a family discovered several new pages hidden beneath the floorboards of their home, hundreds of miles away from the original ruins. Pages that weren't there before. The ink was still fresh, and on the final page was this warning. They are not bound to the hollow anymore. They walk freely now, and they are seeking the next door. First, the village vanished. Then the door beneath it was found. And now something has returned. In part 2, we uncovered the journal of Tomasz Reuter, whose cryptic final words warned of the hollowed ones. Entities from beyond the stone door, beings that existed before the village, before even written history. But what are they? And what happened when the door was finally opened? According to a leaked field report, a private expedition, funded by an unknown organization, returned to Eldon's Hollow shortly after the journal's discovery. Their objective: open the sealed chamber. Against all warnings, they succeeded. For 43 minutes, their communications were stable. Then silence. Recovered footage, what little remains, is disturbing. Researchers move toward the door. One of them places their hand into the stone imprint. A sound low, inhuman, vibrates through the chamber. The stone door opens. What happens next is chaos. Shadows spill into the room, and the audio cuts to static. Screams, brief, muffled, then nothing. All 6 team members vanished. Their bodies were never found. Some theorize they opened a portal, not to another place, but another state of existence. A realm outside of time, where the hollowed ones dwell. Not spirits, not aliens, but something older. Something that feeds on memory, thought, and fear. Eyewitness sketches from the 1930s and modern accounts show similar figures, tall, gaunt, with hollow, featureless faces. Always watching, never moving, but somehow always closer than before. Locals say if you dream of them 3 nights in a row, they find you. In the months following the door's opening, strange disappearances were reported across the region. Families gone overnight. Entire campsites abandoned. Children found wandering in the woods, unable to speak, eyes glazed over, repeating only one word: hollow. The incidents now span multiple countries. But the origin remains the same: the ruins of Eldon's Hollow. Neuroscientists studying survivors of the area found unusual brain activity, memory loss, temporal disorientation, and in one case, a full blackout of personal identity. The patient had no idea who they were, but drew this over and over again: a ring of shadowy figures surrounding a small house. They called it the Gathering. Tomasz had warned us: the door is not meant to be opened. The hollowed ones do not enter. They call you in. He believed the village had not been attacked, but rather absorbed, consumed by a force that unravels reality itself. He writes, they feed on absence. Where they go, memory fades. Time forgets. They erase. Which raises the most terrifying question of all. Did Eldon's Hollow ever exist at all? Today, no official records of Eldon's Hollow remain. Not on maps. Not in census data. Not even in church records. It's as if the village was never there. Except for one thing: the journal. In a recent discovery, a family found pages of Tomasz's journal hidden beneath floorboards of an old farmhouse, miles away from the village ruins. Pages that weren't there before. And on the final page, a warning. They are not bound to the hollow anymore. They walk freely now, and they are seeking the next door. Think. When was the last time you forgot something important? An entire day, a name, a face you swore you knew. Are you sure it was just your memory? What if it wasn't? What if the hollowed ones were already here? Watching, waiting, whispering. And what if they've already found the next door? To be continued in part 2, The Door Between Worlds.